I am your host, Evan Belfiore. Joining me on the phone for an early Monday edition of the podcast is Jimmy Champ. Jimmy, how are you today?
Hey, Victory Monday. I was very wrong about how that game would go. Go Browns.
Yeah, normally when we're wrong, it's because we're hopeful, but this time I didn't think they would dominate the game like they did. The defensive line really showed up. Miles with 3 sacks, and we have to talk about what Shedeur Sanders did and didn't do, or what he did that we liked and didn't like. You've been pretty critical of what he brings to the table at this level. Why don't we start on a more optimistic note, considering they won? What did you like about Shedeur Sanders' play in his first NFL start?
He completed a couple passes. He threw the ball far down the field and it wasn't caught. I mean, without the 77-yard behind the line of scrimmage pass, it was a pretty not that good of a day for Shedeur Sanders.
It's funny because I've been more optimistic about Shedeur than you have, and I'm sort of the same place that you are with what I saw in that game. He is better than Dylan Gabriel. Very low bar. You see at times the deep ball to Bond was a really nice throw. That's a big time throw, but there's a lot of not very good sprinkled in, and then we also have to remember that it's the Raiders and they stink. And for some reason they just didn't blitz him at all, which I know people are giving him a lot of credit, and he deserves a lot of credit. I'll give him credit right now. He never backpedaled once, I think. That entire game, but he also didn't really face a really hard blitz up the middle, which is what causes him to do that. So I'm really interested to see what happens next week against San Francisco. You feel like they'll bring a lot more pressure and put a lot more pressure on him to throw the ball quickly, and if that happens, does he revert to what we saw last week against Baltimore, or can he just plant his foot and throw the ball? I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm less optimistic than a lot of Browns fans are right now. I would assume you are even less optimistic than I am.
Yeah, so, and San Francisco does not have a good pass defense this year. Their scoring defense isn't very good. Their pass defense isn't very good. So, I mean, it could be a chance for them. And we have to remember, we do know that Shedeur is, he is the project. He's the guy that didn't get much time with the ones, let's be honest, any time with the ones. I'm going to continue to be the villain against Shedeur Sanders because I just think he was always overhyped. Even if you're a 7th round pick in an NFL draft, Shedeur Sanders did nothing special in that game yesterday that any quarterback in the NFL should not be able to do.
That's a really good point.
And I think that's my problem with the way the talk is around Shedeur Sanders. He was an average to slightly above average college quarterback. He was never special in college. A couple splash plays here and there, but never special for like 4 quarters in a game. There's not one game where you could point to go, that was the most incredible day of Shedeur Sanders' collegiate career. Like in every big game against really good talent, he didn't play well. He did what he was supposed to do yesterday, but I just don't understand people. Now he's the guy. What did he do? I don't understand what he did that was so special, but I will take it with the caveat that we know this has been a rough situation for him, and he did not get the work that you would need to be ready at this point in the year, but that's because you were the 4th quarterback on the depth chart.
Yeah, and I think that's where there's some hope moving forward this season, is that you see how much better and how much more comfortable he looked from last week against Baltimore to this week against Vegas.
Absolutely.
And it at least shows that he, with a week of preparation and with them game planning with him in mind, he absorbed a lot and was able to show pretty marked improvement, because last week he looked really bad.
Yeah. So
and this week he just looked like kind of bad.
Yeah, and it was it was against the Raiders, and
Yeah,
you know
they're a bad football team.
they're a bad football team. I believe they fired Chip Kelly today.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't. I mean,
just bad all around. And while San Francisco isn't putting out the best performance on the field, I do think San Francisco has a great coaching staff. So, what does Shador look like when there's film on Shador Sanders?
yeah,
What
I still don't understand what. I mean, if I was going to fire somebody from that game, I feel like it would have been the defensive coordinator for simply not blitzing a quarterback who has yet to show that he can handle that.
Yeah.
That was just really odd to me. I mean, it worked for the Browns. It made Shador comfortable. He was able to get some pockets. And, the thing that really surprised me about that game was how little the Browns were able to run the ball.
Yeah.
Judkins had 2 touchdowns, but that was about it. They were really poor running the ball, which shows me that Vegas maybe was looking to stop the run and make Sanders beat them. But even in obvious passing situations, the no blitzing thing was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it was weird, but kudos to the Browns defense. They they showed up even against subpar offenses. There have been times this year where they have not looked like the all-world defense they're supposed to be. They looked like it yesterday.
Yeah, you get Miles with 3 sacks. I think Malik Collins had 2 sacks too.
Yeah.
They had 10 total, and that's the sort of when the people who thought the Browns could maybe make a run at 500, that wasn't either of us, but the people who thought that premise was built on the idea of the defensive line being that good. Again, it's the Raiders. Their D-line's bad, but if they've just been on a tear these last couple of weeks. Miles has 13 sacks in 3 games, which is pretty ridiculous.
Yes.
Have you changed your mind? Do you think he gets the record now? He needs what? He's at 18, so he needs 4.5 sacks in 6 games.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to change my mind. Well, no, I'm going to stick to what I said.
Okay, I still think he gets there because those other guys are playing really well on the line. I do have some concerns long term because Malik Collins is such an important part of that D line right now, and he's not going to be back next year because they're not going to be able to afford him.
No.
He's playing himself into a bigger contract. So you'll have Mason Graham, you'll have Michael Hall as long as he's healthy, and we'll see what else they do on the line. Mason Graham looks like a real player and the type of guy that they've needed on the line if you're going to have a Myles Garrett. And Schlesinger just keeps playing awesome. And, we sort of laughed about the trade for Campbell, the Newsome-Campbell swap, but he really does fit this defense really well. He plays really well. I like how he holds up in the passing, or not. I like how he holds up in the run game. He's not afraid to hit people like cornerbacks normally are. And he'll be back next year. What do you see long term with this defense? What would you look to fill in some of the holes that they have?
You feel like you still need one more linebacker. And obviously you're going to have holes to fill on the D line. And then you probably legitimately need to start looking for your next shutdown corner to replace Tenzo.
Yeah, because usually when cornerbacks lose it, it happens quick.
Yes.
And I really think they need another defensive tackle.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to go get another Mason Graham at the top of the draft.
No.
But you have 2 first-round picks next year.
Yep.
Maybe you Jacksonville looks like they're going to make the playoffs or something. Yeah, Jesus.
They just keep freaking winning.
So if that pick winds up being like 20, then you can maybe go get the second or third best defensive tackle and really do something. But I don't know if they're going to be able to spare the capital to do that with how many holes are on the offense. They've got a line that's in shambles.
Yeah. I think they're going to be much more worried. As they should be about filling holes all over the offense than the defense. I think they'll piecemeal. That'll probably be more like veterans on low 1-year deals to get
Yeah.
through because I think they're going to have to spend whatever money they have in free agency and draft capital on offensive players.
Yeah, and the one of the things a lot of local beat reporters have been saying is expect the roster to be worse next year because they have a lot of Miles' money to deal with. They're probably going to do whatever major shenanigans they do so that they can cut Watson after next off season, not 26 but 27. And next year looks like they're just going to have to take it on the chin because they've painted themselves into a corner. They're going to have a ton of dead cap money and then whatever Watson and Miles are making. And it's really going to be tough for them to fill out a roster with quality players.
Yep.
So
I mean,
even we're here we are, just everybody's happy about a win and we're just like dumping all over it.
yeah, but I mean, offensively, how much worse could the talent get? How much worse could the roster get? I mean, I'd be happy to see some young, unproven offensive linemen over old and mostly hurt offensive linemen. So,
Before we talk about the upcoming game with San Francisco, I just want to briefly mention Jerry Jeudy, who just continues to find new ways to embarrass himself as a member of this team. And it's everything that we talked about when they traded for him and gave him that extension. You're just rewarding a guy who has often been selfish, and he really pissed me off yesterday with that stupid shenanigan bullshit when he fumbled. Dude, you can just tell he's been bottling up all this I want to taunt other guys thing. And that just, it couldn't be clearer that what he cares about is his numbers and his ability to taunt his opponents as opposed to helping build winning.
yeah, I mean, I think we've been very spot on about Jerry Jeudy. I think Mark Schlereth was very spot on about Jerry Jeudy when the Browns got Jerry Jeudy. That contract extension is one of the worst. I mean, Andrew Berry's got some, but that's probably in the top 5 of bad decisions made by Andrew Berry, and the wide receiver room is not good.
No, and Cedric Tillman, man, it's just those few throws that Shedeur Sanders had that were really nice. The couple of plays that Cedric Tillman seems to make here and there do the heavy lifting that the Deshaun Watson second half against Baltimore did in 2 off seasons ago when everybody was like, no, Watson's on his way back. It's pretty wild how, man, you know what I just heard in the back of my head, Jimmy, is Ron Brown going manage expectations.
Yep.
And I guess we're not trying to rate on the parade. Everybody should enjoy the victory yesterday. It was a lot of fun, especially with how the Browns dominated on the defensive side. You got to see a couple of big plays, which, we don't get to see many of those in Cleveland, and we haven't for quite a while because the quarterback play's been so bad. So that was all nice, but manage the expectations moving forward because they're going to now face a San Francisco 49ers team that they're up 10-3 over Carolina at half. The game's going to be in San Francisco. No line yet because the Niners are obviously playing right now. We talked before. You were thinking the line might be around 6. I was thinking 4.5. So that's a general ballpark. Let's say 5.5 is where the line ends up being. Which side do you like in that game?
I probably like San Francisco in that spot. Like I said, I think the 49ers have a good coaching staff. I think this will be one of the games that might keep Miles from the record because if Kyle Shanahan has to quadruple block Myles Garrett, he will. He's not going to let. I mean, Myles might still get one, but I don't think it'll be a huge day for Myles. He's not going to let Myles Garrett wreck his day, which will be good because we'll see then what the other defensive players are able to do to step up. But I just think overall, I just think San Francisco is a better team. I think it could be pretty low scoring, but I think San Francisco can win by a touchdown. Just how I feel about it.
That is sort of how I feel about it. Brock Purdy, 3 interceptions today.
Yeah.
and a half. Yeah,
Yeah.
they still got a whole other half of football to play. I think the Browns can really cause some damage to San Francisco. We've seen Shanahan's offenses struggle against the Jim Schwartz defense in the past.
Yes.
The defense played very well a couple seasons ago when San Francisco lost on a doinked field goal, which is why I hope more people are thinking what you're thinking, because I would like this line to be higher because I like San Francisco to win the game, but the Browns to cover.
Oh, I like that.
Depending on where it winds up, once it starts getting down to like 4.5, 4, I start getting nervous. But if this line settles at 5.5, 6, fingers crossed, I would be all over that. And the under, like the over under on this Panthers Niners game is 35.5. I would expect something not dissimilar for the Browns game.
Yeah.
Maybe a little higher. I would be surprised if it hit 40.
Yeah, I would too.
And even then, I would probably take the under because I'm expecting regression from Sanders next week, because I think the Niners aren't just going to let him sit in the pocket. I think they're going to bring pressure, and they're going to bring it often.
Yes. Yes.
Final thoughts on the Browns?
Glad they got a win. They needed that. I mean, that was now a lot of, it's always been weird the way like so many of the rookie quarterbacks that have started for Cleveland have had like game one has been like in Pittsburgh or in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Just horrible situations. But it's been a very long time. I believe the last time a Browns rookie QB had a win with similar numbers was Mr. Eric Zaire. So
yeah, it was the first time since they came back.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. So it's a good win, and like I said, I'm glad. I'm glad I was wrong because it staves everything off for a little bit. And Shador, like you said, Shador absolutely looked better than he did the game before. So now we see, can it continue to get better? I don't know how much better it can get with the weapons he's surrounded with. That's always going to be the problem.
Yeah, well, they're going to need to be able to run the ball.
Yes.
Because he's not going to be able to carry that offense on his own. Like, that's
No,
just
I
not
don't
going
think
to
so.
happen.
But I just think that win was just so much about the defense. I mean, Miles just dominant, defense dominant, really good game, because we've seen them at times this year against bad offenses not play great, and it was great to see them just ramp it up and dominate and really carry the team to a win. That's the type of win a lot of people thought they could do multiple times this year. So it's good to see it happen, good to get the win, and now see what happens with San Francisco.
That was what I was expecting to see when they played the Jets.
Yeah.
That type of defensive performance.
Yeah.
And they didn't deliver in that game. They kind of, for a little while, I mean, obviously the 2 touchdowns, but the way they fell apart late against the run against the Jets really just irked me.
Yep.
It was nice to see him come back and really dominate. And we'll move on to the rest of the games. The reason we're recording early is because it's Thanksgiving weekend, as I'm sure many of you know. So we're going to have my mother-in-law is going to be flying into town, which she will be staying in our recording studio / my office / our guest bedroom. So we're going to go ahead and do the lines for the games. There's a ton of football coming up this weekend, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So our first game on Thursday is the Green Bay Packers playing the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Lions are 2.5-point favorites, and the over/under is at 49. Detroit coming off just a brutal game against the Giants.
First off, I want to say kudos to Dan Campbell. I kudos him bad last week. I'm going to kudos him good this time, because he has gotten rid of a lot of Lions bad juju. Because every Lions kicker in the history of Lions football would have missed that kick.
Yeah, they probably would have.
And that was just crazy. But I think that was one of the more shocking games from this weekend was Detroit really having their hands full with the Giants. They just don't quite look right, which we said at the start of the year. Lions fans, you gotta relax a little bit. 2 new coordinators. It's gonna take a while to get it right. Lost some key pieces, and the defense is super injured. I'm all over the Packers here. I love Green Bay in this spot.
We saw this game to start the season.
Yep.
And Green Bay came out with a lot of fire. It was right after the Mika trade, so everybody was like super pumped up. I'm going to take the Lions because they're home, and it's maybe last week was a bit of a look ahead game, but they did come back and win it. And that matters because there's some other teams on here that weren't able to come back and win their games. So I like the Lions here. Jahmyr Gibbs is just putting up crazy numbers. Montgomery has pulled back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it is Jared Goff, and it's a big game. So
yeah.
Man, now I'm talking myself into the Packers. Yeah, I like the Packers. I just can't. I'm not going to have Jared Goff ruin my whole Thanksgiving betting scheme. I just can't do it.
I like it.
Up next, the Kansas City Chiefs, who survived a game of their own, are playing the Dallas Cowboys, who came from behind against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs are 3-point favorites here. The over-under sits at 52. Everything screams letdown game for Dallas, and Kansas City should win this game, but I felt like Kansas City was going to dominate last week, so I don't know what the hell to do with them anymore.
Yeah, but I think when your quarterback struggling a little bit and needs a good performance, Dallas's defense might be a good place to start.
Yeah,
so
that's a fair statement.
I'm all over the Chiefs here. I don't think they're quite near as implosion as the Eagles are, so I don't think Dallas will be able to run off a kind of quarter that they had against Philadelphia.
Yeah, I would say though I like it better at 2.5 than 3.
Yeah, that's fair.
Our next game sees the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Baltimore. The Ravens are 7-point favorites. 51.5 is the over/under. Jimmy, until I see Lamar Alexander, until I see Lamar Jackson actually take off and run, I'm taking whoever Baltimore's playing.
Really?
Yeah, that offense just is not good enough when he's not running. They have to have that dynamic. I know he can be super efficient throwing the ball. The reason those numbers look so good most of the time is because there's a guy or two worried about him running. So it opens up the passing lanes. They weren't going to cover that spread. Did they end up covering so many games? No, they didn't. They ended up not covering because it was 23-10 and the spread was 13.5, wasn't it?
You're right. It was half.
So I'm going to take Cincinnati. They played tough last week against a good New England team.
Yeah.
I think this is a division game. They keep it close. I think Baltimore wins. I think Cincinnati covers.
And I believe Burrow is expected to play as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing just fine with Flacco.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I mean, Lamar is clearly beat up. Like there's something not quite right there, and it is definitely stifling on the offense a little bit. So, yeah, I like that. I'll roll with Cincinnati as well.
Oh man, I talked you into it. Now I'm really scared.
Yeah, I was definitely before you started talking. I was absolutely leaning Baltimore just because Cincinnati's defense is so bad.
Oh yeah, they are bad, but it's just. They're a different team when Lamar's not running. It's just what is.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is hosting Chicago. Philly fresh off that just brutal loss. Jalen Hurts took that awful sack on that. Was that the last drive of the game that they had? Yeah, because then Dallas got the ball back and kicked the field goal to win it. The Eagles, though, are 7-point favorites at home. 44.5 is the over/under. This is the Friday afternoon game, Jimmy. The Bears have just been winning football games. It's not pretty. This seems a big spread, and it also seems like an interesting clash of two teams that seem to just kind of always wind up in really close games.
Yeah, I almost want to go with the Bears money line, but I definitely think the Bears are going to cover this spread. Like I almost think they're going to win the game, but I definitely think it's going to be close. Like this to me just feels like a field goal game 100%.
Yeah, Chicago just seems to be able to play in these games, and I don't know. I don't want to overreact. I really. Dak always plays well at home, especially against the Eagles. Part of me really thinks Philadelphia is going to come out and just like really come out and play a good football game.
Oh.
And I just can't shake that feeling. So I'm going to take Philly. I don't like it. I don't love it. We'll see how I feel about it on Friday.
All right.
But right now, I'm really leaning Philly in that game. Our next game sees the Saints traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. 6-point favorites are Miami. 41.5 is the over-under. I just don't care about these two teams anymore, Jimmy.
No, it was nice having Miami on a bye last week, so we didn't have to talk about them.
Yeah, I don't want it with this game.
Yeah, I'm not. To me, this is a stay away, but I'll take the Dolphins.
Yeah, I guess you would want to take the better team at home.
I do feel. I mean, I don't want the Dolphins have underperformed so much, but I don't think they're one of the worst teams in the league, and I think the team they're playing
New Orleans
is one of the worst teams.
Yeah, New Orleans is a really bad football team.
Yeah, so I'm comfortably on the Dolphins.
Okay, I'm not, but I'll take them. Our next game sees the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as 3-point favorites hosting the Arizona Cardinals. 44.5 is the over-under. Tampa Bay, the injuries just keep piling up. Baker hurt that shoulder again, and he's looking like he's going to play next week, but it does look like, we saw what that looked like in 21. And I don't know. Arizona doesn't have the offense, though. The Rams do. So I like the Tampa Bay to bounce back and get a win. I'd probably bet it at 2.5 and expect a late game field goal, or you can take the money line at -157. You're giving up quite a bit of vig there, but you'll be a lot more comfortable. They're so beat up. I think they win the game. I think you're safer with the money line than the 3, like significantly safer.
Significantly safer. I mean, they are very beat up. They are. Yeah, I'll take Arizona to cover.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, Tampa Bay is beat up. I would think if they were playing a better team than Arizona, you might see Baker actually sit. But I think they figure
they got to get a win.
They figure they could. There's probably not much chance of too much damage being done against Arizona. So
yeah, and they have the same number of wins as Carolina right now.
Yeah.
So that division is certainly not locked up. Now they do have a pretty easy slate moving forward, and they've lost some games to like the league's best teams. So
yeah,
we'll see how they bounce back.
Most of their losses have been to really good teams.
Yeah. Up next, the Atlanta Falcons are 2.5-point favorites in New York against the Jets. 39.5 is the over/under. This is another stay away for me. I don't want anything to do with this game. I guess I would take the Jets because they're home underdogs and they're playing Kirk Cousins, but
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I agree. These are two teams that are not having a great year, but I think just in general that's normally a pretty good. Taking a home dog is never a bad idea, so I think that's a good call there.
Up next, the Houston Texans are traveling to Indianapolis. The Colts are 4.5-point favorites in this game. 44.5 is the over/under. Jimmy, what do you expect from the Texans and Colts in this game?
Give me the Texans money line and the over, please.
Have they played yet? No, they haven't. Yeah, that Texans defense is probably going to be able to mimic a lot of what Kansas City did. Not let Taylor go nuts, force Daniel Jones to make plays. So I'm with you. I like Houston as underdogs here.
I think, I'm sure the Colts will still find some points. And I think the Texans, I think there'll still be a little bit of points. But I think the Texans are itching for this game. I think last week proved to everybody on a national stage what I've been saying, a lot of talk about a lot of defenses being the best in the league. No, the Texans defense is the best defense in the league. And I don't think it's particularly close with anybody. And they don't really have to do anything special to stop the run. And then they're they don't really even blitz that much. Their like front five is just so good at getting to the quarterback, and they've got a great secondary. Like I think this will be a game where everybody will be reminded, like, that Daniel Jones is not a elite quarterback, and the Colts are not an elite team.
They looked really good against Kansas City, but when Kansas City turned it on, they had no answer.
Yeah,
Just
I mean
none.
they looked really good until they had 6 3-and-outs to end the game.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there. The
Yeah,
Indianapolis Colts have 3 losses. The
yeah,
Houston Texans have 5 losses. They still play each other twice. Houston wins this game, totally in the hunt for that division.
yeah.
So I'm with you. I like the Texans there. The other team that is vying for that division is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are 6.5-point favorites traveling to Tennessee. 42 is the over-under. Did Seattle just fall asleep there against Tennessee? Like, what the hell happened at the end of that game?
Yes, Seattle fell asleep, and Jacksonville. I mean, this game is probably going to end up being tight. I think Tennessee covers because Jacksonville just doesn't. Jacksonville's one of those teams that aren't playing normal games right now.
Yeah, I
So,
was going to say this looks like the Jimmy special, Jacksonville to win, Tennessee to cover.
yep, there it is.
Our next game is a revenge game for Sam Darnold, and the Seattle Seahawks are taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Seattle 10.5-point home favorites. 41.5 is the over/under. J.J. McCarthy does not look like an NFL quarterback, Jimmy, even with all that talent around him.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case. That does seem to be the case. I thought with all of that talent, he would still be able to succeed, even though I didn't think he was going to be very good. But I thought with all that talent, he would be serviceable, and he is actually not serviceable. So you got to take Seattle here, I think.
Yeah, I like Seattle to win this game. I think the defense should really respond against McCarthy, and I think Sam Darnold's going to want to put points on the board to rub it in. So what am I? I think I've hit 2 out of the 6 I've thought so far, but I think I might bet this one up to 19.5.
Ooh.
I mean, I'll take it at 10.5, but then I'll probably also throw some action on 19.5.
Yeah.
Our next game sees the Buffalo Bills traveling to Pittsburgh. The Steelers are 3.5-point home underdogs. 47.5 is the over/under. Rule of thumb is usually bet Tomlin is a home underdog. Does that still apply here, you think, Jimmy?
I mean, so many things are happening weird in the NFL this year, even with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Buffalo is going to look much better. They're going to be happy to be playing a normal defense, not the defense they played last week, but I'm still taking Tomlin as a home dog, man.
Yeah, I can't not take him as a home dog. I will probably do a parlay for Josh Allen to be good in this game because he wasn't good last week. So he usually isn't. He usually follows a bad performance with a really good performance. Like it's coming either this week, next week. So I think putting some parlays together for Josh Allen to have like big days with touchdowns running or touchdowns throwing, putting together some parlays with some passing props, passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. I think he's going to put up a big game here pretty soon. I don't know if it's this one, but it's Tomlin at home as an underdog. You got to go with it. Our next game sees the Raiders as 9.5-point underdogs to the Los Angeles Chargers. 41 is the over/under. I mean, the Raiders look terrible, but the Chargers haven't exactly looked like they deserve to be 9.5-point favorites against anybody. So I don't know what the hell to do here.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the Chargers and move on. Like I don't.
Fair.
I mean, I think that the Chargers have had some rough losses against some good teams as well, and I think this will be happy for them. And they certainly got a blueprint last week on how to dominate the Raiders. So I think the Chargers win this one pretty easily.
Yeah, that was. If the Chargers are to be taken at all seriously as we get later in the year, they have to win this game by at least 10.
Yeah, if you, I mean, especially with the teams that are knocking, like if you cannot beat the Raiders by like a touchdown and a field goal or two touchdowns, nobody's going to take you seriously. And you're probably not going to take yourself very seriously.
Up next, the Denver Broncos are 6.5-point road favorites against the Washington Armada. 43 is the over-under. This is another game that I just don't know what to do with because 6.5 points, I feel like Denver wins, but I just don't trust Bo Nix to cover that spread.
Yep. I like the Armada to cover, the Broncos to win, and the under.
Yeah, I think that's a nice bet. Our last game of the week sees the New England Patriots hosting the New York Giants. These two played some Super Bowls together, as some may remember. Very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
The Patriots are 7.5-point home favorites. 46.5 is the over-under. We got the big Jameis game, Jimmy, so I think we start getting the bad Jameis games. So give me the Patriots, and I think Drake May maybe still struggles a little bit because that Giants defense seems like they can still get after it.
Yeah, the Giants defense. I mean, they played a really good game. Played a weird good game last week, but yeah, I like New England here. I just think they're just the better team, and it would take some serious crazy catch magic for the Giants to beat the Patriots here.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the Thanksgiving slate of games. As we said, we'll see where the Browns line ends up. I like it. I hope Jimmy's more right and that the betting public thinks 5.5, 6 is the right number because I think this ends up being a field goal game. So, Jimmy, you think San Francisco has a good chance to just really put it to the Browns?
I don't even think because I don't think they necessarily would have to do anything special to put it to the Browns.
Yeah, that's fair. And if they blitz and the Browns don't score, it could be a really rough day.
I mean, when he's been healthy, Christian McCaffrey has been really good against the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like I said, I don't think you have to do anything special. But I'll be honest, I'm curious to see, you would like to see the defense carry over because I agree with you. Purdy is gettable. I do think the sacks won't be as easy to come by because I do think Shanahan will scheme blocks on Garrett, but they'll give other guys a chance to attack too. So I'm just very curious. Like it's always fun watching Shanahan versus Schwartz because it's two really good play designers at what they do at their craft going at each other. So it should be a fun like X's and O's game. I just think it's probably going to be pretty low scoring and a lot of running, probably a lot of punting. Like I don't think it's going to be anything too special. But it's going to be great to see. It'd be great to see what Shador does. It's going to be good to see if we get a little bit more growth or if we get some regression.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what he looks like because that team's not going to take it easy on him, and they've got more talent than Vegas does.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's it. That's week 13. Week 13, jeez. It's already Thanksgiving. We got the big game on Saturday. Ohio State better not just win, but I want to see a 50-burger, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's what we know they need to do it.
I want a 50-burger. I'm going to be mad at Ryan Day if they don't put up 50.
Yeah,
You gotta be emphatic.
We love being emphatic, so.
That is definitely true. Well, Jimmy, thanks for taking the time tonight to rework your schedule so we could record early. Really appreciate it, man.
Hey, no place I'd rather be, brother.
And I want to thank all of you for listening. For Jimmy Champ, I am Evan Belfiore. All of us here at No Broken Legs are wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the weekend of football.